You bastard. The 60-year-old black housekeeper's voice exploded with 40 years of rage. You think your money makes you God? You think being a billionaire gives you the right to destroy lives? Her chest heaved, finger pointing at his stunned face. You killed my mother. You let them poison her in that hospital while you built your empire on her grave. Around them, the world froze. Board members gasped. Journalists' cameras flashed like lightning. 20 staff pressed against walls, witnessing the impossible. A maid was accusing a billionaire of murder. In his own mansion. In front of everyone. You erased her. Ariel's voice cracked but didn't stop. You buried the truth. You paid off killers. You spied on me for 4 years. All while pretending to be some charitable saint. Alexander touched his burning cheek, face white as marble. Stop. Just stop. No. Ariel stepped closer, 60 years of silence shattering. You can fire me. You can destroy me, but the whole world is watching now. Behind them hung a portrait of a young black woman. Lydia Monroe. Ariel's dead mother. Alexander's buried secret. Stay with us until the end. Because what would make an ordinary 60-year-old black maid risk everything to slap a white American billionaire and call him a murderer in front of the entire world? Hey everyone, welcome back to Top Story. If you're new here, you just walked into something special. This channel? We tell stories that hit different. Stories about real courage. Real sacrifice. Real people who did the impossible when the world said they couldn't. And to my subscribers? My day ones? Thank you. Seriously. You show up every single week. You comment. You share. You make this channel what it is. I don't take that for granted. If you are new here, subscribe to our channel and let us know where you are watching from in the comments section. Before we dive in, let me say a quick prayer for all of you watching right now. May God bless you wherever you are. May He protect your family, your health, and your future. May He open doors that no man can shut and give you strength for whatever battles you're facing today. May His favor follow you, His peace guard your heart, and His grace cover every mistake. In Jesus' name, type Amen in the comments section. May God answer our prayers. Alright. Now let's get into this story. Because what you're about to hear? It's going to change the way you see kindness, betrayal, and revenge forever. Ariel Monroe was 60 years old the day she walked through hell's front door. The gates of Eastbridge Estate opened without sound. No creak. No groan. Just cold metal sliding on expensive hinges. She stood there with one suitcase and 40 years of rage wrapped tight in her chest. You lost? A woman in gray appeared at the servant's entrance. Younger. Tired eyes. Name tag said Rosa. I'm the new maid. Rosa looked her up and down. You're older than I expected. And you're ruder than I hoped. We both disappointed? Rosa's mouth twitched. Almost smiled. Follow me. Inside, the mansion didn't feel like a house. It felt like a tomb someone had decorated. Marble floors. Crystal lights. Silence so thick it pressed against your ears. 3 staff members moved through the kitchen like ghosts. No talking. No laughing. Just hands wiping counters that were already clean. Breakfast at 7. Lunch at 1. Dinner at 8. Rosa handed her a uniform. You serve. You clear. You disappear. Questions? Yeah. Why does everyone look terrified? The kitchen froze. Rosa stepped closer. Whispered. Because Mr. Voss doesn't like noise. Or questions. Or people who last longer than a month. What happened to the last maid? She asked too many questions. Ariel took the uniform. Good thing I already know the answers. Rosa stared at her. You're either very brave or very stupid. I'm 60. I ran out of both 20 years ago. Her room was small. Bed. Lamp. Window facing the garden. She opened her suitcase and pulled out a photograph wrapped in cloth. A woman stared back. Younger. Beautiful. Dead 30 years now. Ariel pressed the photo to her chest. I made it, Mama. I'm inside. She hid it under the mattress and changed into the gray uniform. Downstairs, the staff had gathered near the back hall. Rosa pointed at the clock. 2 minutes. He comes down for coffee at 6:30 exactly. Stand straight. Don't stare. Don't breathe loud. What happens if I breathe loud? No one laughed. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming down the main stairs. Every person in that hallway stopped breathing. The footsteps paused. A door closed somewhere. Who is Lydia really? Drop your theory in the comments right now, and if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button because this mystery is about to get dark. You don't want to miss what happens next. Rosa exhaled. He's in his office. You're lucky. But Ariel didn't feel lucky. She felt like she'd just entered a prison where the guards wore aprons. And somewhere in this house was the man who killed her mother. She just had to prove it. Ariel's first task was dusting the east hallway. Rosa handed her a cloth. Don't miss anything. He notices everything. The hallway stretched forever. Paintings lined both walls, rich men in expensive frames, landscapes worth more than houses, ships lost at sea. Then Ariel saw her. She stopped breathing. At the end of the hall hung a portrait of a black woman. Young. Beautiful. Eyes that burned through the canvas like they were still alive. Ariel's legs moved on their own. Closer. Closer. The woman wore a simple dress. Nothing fancy. But she stood like a queen. Chin high. Shoulders back. Defiant. Fresh flowers sat on the table beneath the portrait. Roses. Changed daily by the look of them. Ariel reached up to dust the frame. Don't. She spun around. Rosa stood 10 feet away, face drained of color. Step away from that painting. I'm just. I said step away. Rosa grabbed her arm and yanked her back. Hard. We don't touch that one. Ever. Who is she? Rosa's eyes darted down the hall. Nobody. Somebody hung her picture here. Somebody puts fresh flowers there every single day. And somebody will put you out on the street if you don't shut your mouth. Rosa's voice shook. Not from anger. From fear. We don't talk about her. We don't ask about her. We don't even look at her too long. Ariel pulled her arm free. Why not? Rosa leaned in close. Her breath came fast. Because the last person who asked got fired that same hour. Packed her bags and disappeared. We never saw her again. What's her name? I'm not telling you. Tell me. Rosa looked at the portrait. Then at Ariel. Something changed in her face, like she was deciding whether to save someone or let them drown. Finally, she whispered one word. Lydia. The name hit Ariel like a fist to the chest. Lydia. Her mother's name. Her breath caught. Her hands trembled. She stared up at the portrait with new eyes. The face. The cheekbones. The way she held her head. It wasn't just a woman. It was her woman. Who was she? Ariel's voice cracked. I told you, nobody. Now move. Rosa walked away fast, shoes clicking against marble. Ariel stood alone in the hallway, staring up at her mother. The mother she'd only seen in one faded photograph her whole life. The mother who disappeared from this mansion 40 years ago and died broken, and silent. And here she was, hanging on the wall like a secret no one was allowed to speak. Ariel's hands curled into fists. What did they do to you? She whispered. Footsteps echoed from the main staircase. She grabbed her cloth and moved fast, dusting, wiping, pretending she hadn't just found the reason she came here. The footsteps grew louder, then stopped. Right behind her. She turned slowly. A man stood at the end of the hallway. Tall. Mid-50s. Suit that cost more than her car. Hair silver at the temples. Face sharp enough to cut glass. Alexander Voss. He wasn't looking at her. He was looking at the portrait. His face, calm, controlled, powerful, cracked for half a second. Pain flashed through his eyes. Raw. Real. Then gone. He noticed her staring. You're new. Yes, sir. His eyes moved from her face to the portrait, then back again. He stared at her. Too long. Like he was seeing something that didn't make sense. What's your name? Ariel Monroe. Something flickered in his expression. Confusion. Suspicion. Monroe, he repeated slowly. Yes, sir. He stepped closer. Studied her face like he was searching for something hidden underneath. Have we met before? No, sir. His jaw tightened. He didn't believe her. But he didn't call her a liar either. Instead, he looked back at the portrait one more time. His hand lifted, almost touched the frame, then dropped. Get back to work, he said quietly. Then he walked away. Ariel stood frozen until his footsteps faded. Her heart hammered in her chest. He knew something. Or he was about to. Alexander Voss ate breakfast alone at a table built for 20. Ariel carried in his coffee. Her hands steady. Her heart a war drum. Rosa hissed from the doorway. Don't look at him. Don't speak unless he speaks first. Ariel ignored her. She set the coffee down beside his phone. He didn't look up. Just kept scrolling through emails like she didn't exist. She stepped back and stood against the wall with the others. Silence. The kind that made your ears ring. Alexander took a sip. Set the cup down. Kept reading. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his jaw clenched. Rosa. Rosa stepped forward like a soldier. Yes, sir. Who hired the new staff this month? I did, sir. Did you check references? Of course, sir. Then explain to me why I'm looking at a background check that says Ariel Monroe worked for the Harringtons in Boston. Ariel's stomach dropped. Rosa looked confused. That's what her resume said, sir. Call them. Sir. Call the Harringtons. Right now. Verify her employment. Rosa pulled out her phone with shaking hands. Ariel didn't move. Didn't blink. She'd forged that reference 6 months ago. A friend of a friend. A fake number that rang to a burner phone she controlled. But if Rosa called the real Harringtons? The phone rang. Once. Twice. Hello? A woman's voice. Rosa cleared her throat. Yes, hello. I'm calling from Eastbridge Estate. We're verifying employment for Ariel Monroe. Oh yes, the woman interrupted. Ariel worked for us for 3 years. Excellent maid. We hated to lose her. Rosa blinked. Thank you. That's all I needed. She hung up. Alexander stared at his phone. Then at Ariel. Lucky, he said quietly. No, sir. Just good at my job. His eyes narrowed. Then the door opened and a young man rushed in. 22. Nervous. Holding a tablet. Mr. Voss, the investors are waiting. I'm eating. Sir, they flew in from London. They've been waiting 30 minutes. Alexander didn't look at him. Just took another sip of coffee. The room held its breath. Finally, Alexander set down his cup. Stood. Buttoned his jacket. Tell them I'll be there when I'm ready. If they don't like it, they can fly back to London. The young man's face went pale. Sir, they'll pull out of the deal. Then let them pull out. Alexander's voice was ice. I don't beg. I don't negotiate. And I sure as hell don't get rushed during breakfast. He walked toward the door. Then stopped. Turned back. Looked directly at Ariel. You, he said. What's your name again? Ariel Monroe, sir. How long have you been doing this work? 30 years. And in 30 years, what's the worst employer you ever had? The room went dead silent. Ariel met his eyes. The ones who thought money made them gods. Rosa gasped. The other staff looked ready to faint. Alexander stared at her. Then he smiled. Not a kind smile. A wolf smile. Interesting, he said. And walked out. The second the door closed, Rosa grabbed Ariel's arm. Are you insane? He asked a question. I answered. You just insulted a billionaire to his face. No. I insulted bad employers. If he took it personal, that's on him. Rosa looked like she wanted to scream. Pack your things. You'll be gone by lunch. But lunch came and went. And Ariel was still there. That night, she couldn't sleep. She lay in bed thinking about Alexander's face when he saw the portrait. The pain. The guilt. The way he looked at her after hearing her last name. He knew something. At midnight, footsteps echoed in the hall outside her door. She got up. Cracked the door open. A figure stood at the end of the hallway. Tall. Broad shoulders. Alexander. He stood in front of the portrait again. Staring. Not moving. Then he did something that made Ariel's blood freeze. He spoke to it. I'm sorry, he whispered. God, Lydia, I'm so sorry. His hand touched the frame. Gentle. Like touching something sacred. I should have protected you. I should have fought for you. I was a coward. His voice cracked. Ariel's chest tightened. Then Alexander pulled something from his pocket. A folded letter. Old. Worn at the edges. He unfolded it and read in the darkness. You were right about everything, he whispered. And I destroyed you for it. He pressed the letter to the portrait. Then he turned and walked back toward his wing. Ariel closed her door and pressed her back against it. Her hands shook. Not from fear. From rage. Because now she knew. Alexander Voss didn't just remember her mother. He'd wronged her. And whatever he did, it haunted him enough to apologize to a painting in the middle of the night. Ariel slid down to the floor and wrapped her arms around her knees. I'll make him say it out loud, Mama, she whispered. I'll make him confess what he did, even if it destroyed them both. Morning came with screaming. Ariel was folding linens in the laundry room when she heard it. A young woman's voice. Shaking. Pleading. Please, Mr. Voss, I didn't mean. You didn't mean what? To question me? Ariel dropped the sheets and moved toward the sound. The main hall. Staff gathered like witnesses at an execution. A girl stood in the center. Maybe 25. Tears streaming down her face. Her uniform wrinkled like she'd been grabbed. Alexander stood 3 feet away. Calm. Cold. Hands in his pockets. "What did you say?" he asked quietly. I asked if you were sure about firing Thomas. He has 3 kids and what? You think you run this estate?" "No, sir, I just thought." "You thought?" Alexander took a step closer. "Let me tell you what thinking gets you in this house. It gets you unemployed." The girl sobbed. "Please. I need this job." "Then you should have kept your mouth shut." He turned to Rosa. "Get her out. Final check by noon." Rosa stepped forward, face blank. "Yes, sir." The girl looked around the room. Desperate. Looking for someone, anyone, to help. No one moved. Ariel's hands curled into fists. The girl's eyes found hers. A silent plea. Ariel stepped forward. Rosa's head snapped toward her. Eyes screaming, "Don't." "Mr. Voss," Ariel said. The room froze. Alexander turned slowly. "Excuse me?" She made a mistake. "We all do." His eyes locked on hers. "Are you speaking out of turn, Ariel?" "I'm speaking sense." Silence so thick you could choke on it. Alexander walked toward her. Slow. Measured. Predator closing in. He stopped inches away. Looked down at her. "Do you know what happens when staff forget their place? They get fired for having a heart." His jaw tightened. "They get reminded that this is my house. My rules. My empire." Empire. Ariel tilted her head. "That what you call it? What would you call it?" "A kingdom built on fear." Someone gasped. Alexander's eyes went dark. "You've been here 4 days. You know nothing about this house." "I know scared people when I see them. I know bullies when I meet them." The air crackled. Rosa looked ready to pass out. Alexander leaned closer. His voice dropped to a whisper only Ariel could hear. "Keep talking. See where it gets you. Same place as her, I imagine." Ariel nodded at the crying girl. "But at least I'll leave knowing I didn't stay quiet." Something flashed in his eyes. Anger. Surprise. Something else she couldn't name. He straightened up. Adjusted his tie. "Fine." He looked at the girl. "You stay. But one more word out of line and you're gone. Understood?" The girl nodded frantically. "Yes, sir." "Thank you, sir." Alexander's eyes never left Ariel's face. "As for you, my office. 6 o'clock tonight." Then he walked away. The room exhaled. The girl ran to Ariel and grabbed her hands. "Thank you. Oh my God, thank you." "Don't thank me yet," Ariel muttered. Rosa pulled her aside the second the hall cleared. "What is wrong with you?" "A lot of things." "Be specific." "You just challenged him in front of everyone. He was about to ruin that girl's life over nothing. That's how it works here." Rosa's voice shook. "You keep your head down. You survive. You don't play hero." "I'm 60 years old, Rosa. I didn't come here to survive." Rosa stared at her. "Then what did you come here for?" Ariel almost told her. Almost said, to destroy him. Instead, she said, to do what's right. Rosa shook her head. "Right doesn't live in this house." At 6 o'clock, Ariel knocked on Alexander's office door. "Come in." She entered. The office was huge. Dark wood. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. A desk the size of a car. Alexander sat behind it. Fingers steepled. Face unreadable. "Close the door." She did. "Sit." "I'll stand." His eyebrow lifted. Defiant even now. Honest even now. He leaned back in his chair. Studied her like a puzzle he couldn't solve. "Tell me something, Ariel. Why do you keep pushing me? Why do you keep pushing them? They work for me. They're not slaves." His eyes flashed. "I pay them well. Money doesn't buy dignity." "No. But it buys loyalty." "Is that what you call it?" Ariel took a step forward. "Because from where I stand, it looks like fear." Alexander stood up. Walked around the desk. Stopped 3 feet from her. "You don't know me. I know men like you." "Do you?" His voice softened. "Dangerous. Tell me. What kind of man am I?" Ariel met his eyes. The kind who apologizes to portraits in the middle of the night. The blood drained from his face. His mouth opened. Closed. You were in the hall." "I was." He turned away. Ran a hand through his hair. "You shouldn't have seen that." "But I did." Silence. When he spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. "Who are you?" "A woman who doesn't stay silent." "That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight." She turned toward the door. "Ariel." She stopped. Didn't turn around. "Why do I feel like I've seen you before?" Her heart pounded. "Maybe you have," she said quietly. And walked out. Alexander stood alone in his office. Staring at the closed door. His hands shaking. Because when she turned her head just now, the angle of her jaw, the way her eyes caught the light. She looked exactly like Lydia. The staff started whispering about Ariel. Not to her face. Never to her face. But she heard it in the laundry room. In the hallways. In the kitchen when she walked in and conversations died. She talked back to him. Twice. She's still here. Why is she still here? Rosa cornered her by the pantry on day 7. They're scared of you now. Ariel folded a towel. Why? Because you do what they can't. You look him in the eye. You speak when you're supposed to stay silent. And somehow, Rosa shook her head, somehow you're still employed. Maybe he respects honesty. Alexander Voss doesn't respect anything except power. Then maybe I have more power than you think. Rosa stared at her. Who are you really? Ariel didn't answer. That afternoon, Ariel found a young maid crying in the bathroom. Her name was Maria. 19. New. What happened? Ariel knelt beside her. I broke a glass. In his study. He saw me pick up the pieces and told me I was clumsy. Said if I break anything else, I'm done. It was an accident. He doesn't care. Maria wiped her eyes. My mom is sick. I send her half my paycheck every month. If I lose this job. Her voice broke. Ariel pulled her close. Let her cry. Listen to me, Ariel said quietly. You're not clumsy. You're tired. You're scared. And you're working for a man who breaks people for sport. I can't lose this job. You won't. How do you know? Because I won't let it happen. Maria pulled back. You can't protect me. Watch me. The next morning, Alexander held a staff meeting. Everyone gathered in the main hall. 30 people. All silent. Alexander stood at the front. Hands behind his back. King surveying his kingdom. This estate runs on order, he began. On discipline. On respect. Some of you seem to have forgotten that. His eyes swept the room. Landed on Ariel. When I give an instruction, I expect it followed. Not questioned. Not debated. Followed. He started pacing. Last week, a staff member questioned my decision in front of others. That staff member is still here only because I allowed it. But my patience has limits. He stopped directly in front of Maria. The girl went pale. You, he said. The one who broke the glass. Maria's voice trembled. Yes, sir. You're on probation. One more mistake and you're gone. Understood? Yes, sir. He started to turn away. Ariel's voice cut through the room. She's the best worker you have. Every head turned. Alexander froze. Slowly, he turned back. What did you say? Ariel stepped forward. Maria. She's the best worker here. She stays late. Comes early. Never complains. And you're threatening her over one broken glass? I'm teaching her accountability. You're teaching her fear. The room held its breath. Alexander's face darkened. You're out of line. No. You are. Rosa grabbed Ariel's arm. Whispered desperately, stop. Ariel shook her off. She walked forward until she stood face to face with Alexander. You want order? Fine. But order without humanity is tyranny. His voice dropped to a whisper. You're testing me. You're failing. His jaw clenched. Fury blazed in his eyes. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled. Not a kind smile. A dangerous one. You have courage, he said quietly. Stupid courage. But courage. And you have power. Hollow power. But power. The staff looked ready to faint. Alexander leaned in close. So close she could feel his breath. One day, Ariel Monroe, that mouth of yours is going to cost you everything. One day, Alexander Voss, that pride of yours will do the same. They stared at each other. Fire meeting fire. Then Alexander stepped back. Maria stays, he said loudly. Probation lifted. Shock rippled through the room. He looked at Ariel one more time. Happy now? Getting there. He walked out. The second the door closed, the room erupted in whispers. Maria ran to Ariel and hugged her. I don't understand. How did you? He's not a monster, Ariel said. He's a man who forgot what it's like to be challenged. Rosa appeared beside her. You're playing a dangerous game. I'm not playing anything. Then what are you doing? Ariel looked toward the door Alexander had walked through. I'm reminding him he's human. Ariel is playing with fire and we're here for it. Comment below, is she brave or foolish? And subscribe because the next scene reveals a secret that changes everything about this family. That night, Ariel couldn't sleep again. She got up and walked the halls. The mansion at night was different. Quiet. Almost peaceful. She found herself standing in front of the portrait. Lydia stared down at her. I'm doing it, Mama, Ariel whispered. I'm making him see. Making him feel. Soon he'll remember what he did to you. Footsteps behind her. She turned. Alexander stood at the end of the hall. Wearing pajamas. Looking exhausted. They stared at each other. Can't sleep, he asked. No. Me neither. He walked closer. Stopped beside her. Looked up at the portrait. Silence stretched between them. She haunts me, he said quietly. Ariel's breath caught. Who was she? Someone I loved. His voice cracked. Someone I failed. How? He closed his eyes. I let them destroy her. I stood by and watched because I was too much of a coward to fight for her. Tears burned Ariel's eyes. Why didn't you stop them? Because I was afraid. Afraid of losing everything I'd built. My reputation. My empire. He opened his eyes. Looked at the portrait with so much pain it hurt to watch. I chose power over her. And she paid the price. Ariel's hands shook. What was her name? She whispered. He looked at her. Really looked at her. Lydia, he said. Her name was Lydia Monroe. The world stopped. Ariel's vision blurred. He knew. He just said it. Her mother's full name. Monroe, she repeated, voice breaking. Alexander's eyes widened. Wait. Your last name. She ran. Down the hall. Up the stairs. Into her room. Slammed the door and pressed her back against it. Her whole body shook. He'd said it. He'd confessed. He loved her mother. And he let them destroy her. Ariel avoided Alexander for 3 days. She took different hallways. Worked different hours. Disappeared into pantries when she heard his voice. But tonight, there was no escape. Rosa grabbed her arm at 5 o'clock. You're serving dinner. Get someone else. He requested you specifically. Ariel's stomach dropped. What? He has guests. Important ones. He wants you in the dining room. Rosa, I can't. You don't have a choice. 7 o'clock. The dining room glittered like a jewelry box. Crystal chandeliers. Gold-trimmed plates. 10 guests in designer suits and dresses. Alexander sat at the head of the table. Laughing. Charming. Playing the perfect host. Ariel entered with a tray of wine glasses. His eyes found hers immediately. She looked away. Started pouring wine. Moving around the table. Invisible. Silent. So, Alexander, a man in a navy suit said, tell us about your latest acquisition. Ah yes. The Riverside project. Alexander leaned back. Smug. Purchased the entire block for 30 million. Displaced a few families, but progress requires sacrifice. The table laughed. Ariel's hand tightened on the wine bottle. A woman in diamonds spoke up. What happened to the families? Alexander shrugged. Relocated. Compensated fairly. Well, fairly enough. More laughter. Ariel moved to pour his glass. Her hand shook. Wine spilled on the tablecloth. The conversation stopped. Alexander looked at the red stain spreading across white linen. Clumsy, he said quietly. I apologize, sir. That's a $15,000 tablecloth. The guests watched. Hungry for drama. I'll clean it immediately. No. He held up a hand. Leave it. Let everyone see what happens when standards slip. Ariel's jaw clenched. One of the guests, an older man with silver hair, chuckled. You run a tight ship, Alexander. I run an empire. Empires don't tolerate weakness. Is that what you call it? Ariel's voice came out before she could stop it. The room went silent. Alexander's eyes locked on hers. Excuse me? Nothing, sir. No. Say it. You clearly have something to say. Her heart pounded. Every instinct screamed stay quiet. But she'd stayed quiet for 60 years. I said, is that what you call it? An empire? What would you call it? A castle built on the backs of people you threw away. Gasps around the table. Alexander stood slowly. You're out of line. No. You are. Ariel set the wine bottle down. You sit here bragging about displacing families. Laughing about it. Like their lives are just numbers in your ledger. You're a maid. You don't understand business. I understand humanity. Something you seem to have lost. The guests looked shocked. Thrilled. This was better than any theater. Alexander walked around the table. Stopped in front of her. You want to lecture me about humanity? You who knows nothing about what it takes to build something from nothing. I know what it takes to lose everything. Her voice shook. I know what it's like when someone powerful decides you don't matter. Something flickered in his eyes. This isn't about me. Isn't it? Who are you really, Ariel? I'm the daughter of someone you destroyed. The words left her mouth before she could stop them. The room froze. Alexander's face went white. What did you say? Ariel's breath came fast. She'd gone too far. But she couldn't stop now. Lydia Monroe. You said her name 3 nights ago. You said you loved her. You said you let them destroy her. His hands shook. You. I'm her daughter. The room exploded. Guests whispered. Phones came out. Alexander grabbed Ariel's arm. My office. Now. He dragged her out of the dining room. The guests erupted in conversation behind them. He slammed the office door. Turned on her. You came here to, what? Destroy me? I came here for answers. So you lied your way into my house. You destroyed my mother and I want to know why. Ariel's voice cracked. Tears streamed down her face. She died broke. Alone. Telling me stories about a man who promised to protect her and then threw her away. Alexander's face crumbled. I didn't throw her away. Then what happened? It was complicated. No. It was simple. You were a coward. He flinched like she'd slapped him. Silence. When he spoke again, his voice was broken. You're right. He sank into his chair. Put his head in his hands. God help me, you're right. I was a coward. Ariel stared at him. She was my half-sister, he whispered. Same father. Different mothers. My father kept her existence secret. When I found out, I promised to protect her. To give her a place in this family. His hands shook. But my father's legitimate wife found out. She threatened to destroy everything. The company. The family name. Everything. He looked up at Ariel with red eyes. And I chose the company. I let them erase Lydia. I stood by while they humiliated her. Fired her. Spread lies about her. Tears rolled down his face. She begged me to fight for her. And I didn't. I let her leave with nothing. And when I finally came looking for her years later, she was dead. He nodded. Lung cancer. Alone in a charity hospital. I was too late. Ariel's legs gave out. She collapsed into a chair. Why keep her portrait? Because I'm a coward who wants credit for guilt. His voice was bitter. I hang her picture. I put fresh flowers there. I apologize to her painting. But what good does it do? She's gone. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Ariel spoke. I didn't come here just to destroy you. He looked at her. I came here to make you remember what it feels like to be powerless. To be afraid. To watch someone you care about get hurt and not be able to stop it. Consider it done. She stood. Walked to the door. Ariel. She stopped. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. She didn't turn around. Sorry doesn't bring her back. And she walked out. Leaving him alone with his empire of guilt. The mansion knew by morning. Ariel woke to silence. Not the normal silence. The kind that comes before a storm. She got dressed and walked downstairs. Every staff member she passed looked away. In the kitchen, conversation stopped when she entered. Rosa stood by the coffee maker, arms crossed. You need to leave. Good morning to you too. I'm serious. Rosa grabbed her arm and pulled her into the pantry. Everyone knows. The guests from last night, they talked. It's all over social media. Billionaire's secret sister. Maid exposes Voss family scandal. Good. Good. Rosa's eyes went wide. Are you insane? Do you know what he's capable of? He's capable of guilt. I saw it last night. Guilt doesn't pay my rent, Ariel. And when he decides to burn this whole place down, we all go with it. The pantry door opened. The head butler stood there. Marcus. 50 years old. 20 years at Eastbridge. You're wanted in Mr. Voss's study. Tell him I'm busy. It wasn't a request. Alexander's study door was open. He sat behind his desk. Hadn't shaved. Hadn't slept by the look of him. A glass of whiskey sat untouched beside his computer. Closed the door. Ariel stepped inside. Left it open. He looked up. I said close it. I'm not afraid of you. You should be. He stood. Walked around the desk. Do you have any idea what you've done? I told the truth. You started a war. He shoved his phone toward her. Look. The screen showed headlines. Voss empire built on family betrayal. Billionaire hid half-sister, let her die in poverty. Anonymous sources confirm, Lydia Monroe was erased. Ariel's chest tightened. But she didn't let it show. You did this to yourself. I did it to protect my family's legacy. By destroying your family? He grabbed the edge of the desk. Knuckles white. I'm ruined. My board wants me to resign. Investors are pulling out. Everything I built was built on lies. It was built on sacrifice. It was built on cowardice. Ariel stepped closer. You want to be angry? Be angry at yourself. You had a choice 40 years ago and you chose wrong. I was 25 years old. My mother was 23. That stopped him. He stared at her. How old are you? 60. His face went pale. Then you were 20 when she died. Yes. Ariel's voice cracked. I watched her waste away in a hospital bed, whispering about a brother who promised to save her. She died believing you'd come back. Alexander turned away. Put his hands on the window. Shoulders shaking. I looked for her. For years. But she'd changed her name. Disappeared. She was hiding from your family. She was hiding from me. Silence. When he spoke again, his voice was broken. Does that make you happy? Knowing I've spent 40 years drowning in guilt? No. Ariel's voice was quiet. It makes me sad. Because you could have done something about it. Instead, you built a mansion and put her picture on the wall like that was enough. He turned back. Eyes red. What do you want from me? I want you to stop hiding. I'm not hiding. You're terrified. Ariel moved closer. You're terrified the world will see you're not the powerful Alexander Voss. You're just a scared man who chose money over family. Stop. You fire people for speaking up because you can't stand the sound of truth. I said stop. You humiliate staff because it makes you feel powerful. Stop. His hand flew up. For a second, Ariel thought he'd actually hit her. But he didn't. His hand froze midair. Trembling. Then dropped. He stepped back. Horrified. I didn't. But you wanted to. He collapsed into his chair. Put his head in his hands. Ariel stood there. Heart pounding. But she wasn't afraid. She was angry. I'm leaving, she said quietly. No. He looked up. Please. Don't go. Why not? Because you're the only person in 40 years who's told me the truth. His voice broke. Everyone else lies. Flatters. Fears me. But you treat me like I'm human. You're not acting like one. I know. He wiped his eyes. But maybe if you stay, you can teach me how. Ariel stared at him. This broken billionaire. This man who destroyed her mother and now sat crying in his office. I didn't come here to save you, she said. Then why did you come? To make you hurt like she hurt. Mission accomplished. She turned to leave. Ariel. She stopped. The staff, they're scared of you now. Scared of what you'll say next. Scared you'll bring this whole house down. Maybe I will. If you do, his voice was quiet. Don't stop halfway. She looked back at him. He met her eyes. If you're going to burn my empire, burn all of it. Expose everything. Don't leave anything standing. Why would you want that? Because I'm tired of pretending. Ariel walked back to the kitchen. Every staff member scattered when she entered. Except one. Marcus, the head butler, stood by the sink. Blocking her path. You need to go, he said quietly. Alexander said I could stay. Mr. Voss doesn't control everything. Marcus stepped closer. Some of us have been here longer than you. Longer than him, even. And we protect this house. From what? From people like you. His voice dropped. People who ask too many questions. People who dig up the past. People who disappear. Ariel's blood ran cold. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. He leaned in. The last person who tried to expose this family, she didn't just lose her job. She lost everything. House burned down. Car accident a month later. Convenient. You're lying. Am I? He smiled. Cold. Empty. Ask yourself, why does Mr. Voss keep Lydia's portrait on the wall? Guilt? Or reminder? He walked away. Ariel stood frozen. Her hands shook. Because suddenly she understood. This wasn't just about Alexander's guilt. This was about something bigger. Something darker. And she just painted a target on her back. 3 days after Marcus's warning, Ariel was assigned to Alexander's study. Rosa handed her the tea tray. Don't stay long. Don't talk. Just deliver and leave. What if he wants to talk? Then God help you. Ariel climbed the stairs to the second floor. Her heart pounded with every step. She knocked. Come in. She opened the door. Alexander sat at his desk. But he wasn't working. He was staring at something on the wall behind her. She turned. A second portrait hung there. Smaller than the one in the hallway. But the same woman. Lydia. Younger in this one. Smiling. Alive. She was 18 there. Alexander's voice was soft. Right before everything fell apart. Ariel set the tea down with shaking hands. You keep 2 portraits of her? I keep 6. He stood. Walked to the painting. One in every room I spend time in. Kitchen. Bedroom. Library. Even the garage. Why? So I never forget what I am. And what's that? He looked at her. A man who killed someone without touching them. The words hung in the air. Ariel's throat tightened. She didn't just die. You let her die. I know. Saying you know doesn't fix it. Nothing fixes it. He turned back to the portrait. Do you believe in redemption, Ariel? I believe people can change. That's not what I asked. His eyes stayed on Lydia's face. Do you believe someone like me can be forgiven? She thought about her mother. About the hospital room. About holding her hand while she died. No, she said honestly. He flinched. But nodded. Good. I don't deserve it. Silence. Ariel moved toward the door. Wait. She stopped. Marcus talked to you. Her blood went cold. How did you know? Because he talks to everyone I care about. You don't care about me. Don't I? He turned. His eyes locked on hers. Intense. Searching. You're Lydia's daughter. You have her eyes. Her fire. Every time I look at you, I see her. And it destroys me. Ariel's breath caught. That's not my problem. I know. But it's my reality. He walked closer. Marcus is dangerous. He's been with my family since before I was born. He knows things. Secrets. Like what? Like how Lydia really died. The room spun. What are you talking about? Alexander's face went dark. I told you she died of cancer. That's what the death certificate says. That's what I believed for 40 years. And now? Now I'm not so sure. Ariel grabbed the desk to steady herself. You think someone killed her? I think someone made sure she stayed silent. He pulled out a folder from his drawer. Handed it to her. I found this last week. After you told me who you were. I started digging into her medical records. Ariel opened the folder. Medical documents. Hospital records. A death certificate. And a handwritten note paper clipped to the top. She knows too much. Handle it. M. Ariel's hands shook. M? Marcus? Maybe. Or my father. Michael Voss. He died 10 years ago. What did she know? Alexander sat down heavily. I don't know. But whatever it was, it got her killed. Ariel's vision blurred. Her mother didn't just die. She was murdered. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve the truth. He looked up at her. And because if we're going to expose what happened, we do it together. We? You want justice for your mother. I want redemption I don't deserve. Maybe together, we can find both. Ariel stared at him. This man who destroyed her mother was now offering to help her uncover how she really died. I don't trust you, she said. Good. Don't. He stood. But trust this, Marcus is watching you. The staff is watching you. And someone in this house knows exactly what happened 40 years ago. Then we find out who. He nodded. We find out who. Ariel turned to leave. Ariel. She looked back. Thank you, he said quietly. For not giving up on her. I'm not doing this for you. I know. She left. But as she walked down the hallway, she felt eyes on her. She looked up. Marcus stood at the top of the stairs. Watching. Smiling. Ariel started in the basement. Every mansion keeps its secrets below ground. Old files. Forgotten storage. Things the family wanted buried. She waited until midnight. Slipped past Rosa's room. Down the servant stairs. Into the cold stone basement that smelled like mold and old money. Boxes lined the walls. Labeled by year. She found 1985. The year her mother disappeared. Inside, employee records. Termination letters. Incident reports. She dug through them with shaking hands. Then she found it. Termination, Lydia Monroe, theft, insubordination, breach of trust. Ariel's stomach dropped. Theft. Her mother never stole anything in her life. She kept reading. Employee attempted to blackmail family members. Threatened to expose private family matters. Immediate termination without severance. It was signed by Michael Voss. Alexander's father. Ariel's hands clenched. Lies. All lies. But why? She kept digging. Found more documents. Staff testimonies. One caught her eye. I saw Lydia in Mr. Michael's office. She was crying. She had papers in her hand. Legal documents. She said, the family needs to know. He told her if she spoke one word, he'd destroy her. The testimony was unsigned. But at the bottom, in faint pencil, someone had written. She was trying to protect him. They killed her for it. Ariel's breath stopped. Protect who? Footsteps above her. She shoved the documents into her uniform and killed the flashlight. The basement door opened. Light spilled down the stairs. I know you're down there, Marcus's voice called. Cold. Calm. Ariel pressed against the wall. Heart hammering. You should have left when I warned you. His footsteps came down. Slow. One at a time. Lydia made the same mistake. Digging where she shouldn't. Closer. You know what happened to her? He reached the bottom step. Ariel grabbed a metal pipe from the floor. Held it tight. Marcus appeared around the corner. Saw her. Smiled. There you are. Ariel swung. The pipe connected with his shoulder. He stumbled back with a grunt. She ran. Up the stairs. Through the kitchen. Down the hall. Behind her, Marcus's voice echoed. You can't run from the truth, girl. It's buried in these walls. She burst into her room. Locked the door. Shoved a chair under the handle. Her whole body shook. She pulled out the documents. Spread them on the bed. Her mother was trying to protect someone. And they killed her for it. But who was they? And who was she trying to protect? Ariel stared at the termination letter again. Then she saw it. The signature. Michael Voss. But the handwriting didn't match the rest of the letter. Someone else wrote it. Someone forged Michael's signature. And suddenly, she understood. The person who killed her mother was still in this house. Still watching. Still dangerous. And she just made herself the next target. Wait. Did you catch that? If you're as shook as we are, smash that subscribe button and comment "Protect Ariel" if you think she's in real danger. Trust me, you need to see what happens in the next scene. Ariel didn't sleep. She sat on her bed staring at the forged signature until her eyes burned. Someone in this house killed her mother and made it look legal. At dawn, she heard something. A sound outside her door. Paper sliding under the gap. She jumped up. Yanked the door open. The hallway was empty. On the floor lay a sealed envelope. Old. Yellowed with age. No name on it. She picked it up. Her hands trembled. Inside was a letter. Handwritten. The ink faded but readable. My dearest Lydia. I know what you're planning to do. I know you found the documents. I know you want to tell Alexander the truth about his birth. Please don't. If the family discovers what you know, they will destroy you. Michael has already threatened me. He says if the truth comes out, everything falls apart. The company. The inheritance. Alexander's future. But I can't stay silent anymore. Our son deserves to know who he really is. Meet me tonight. The garden. Midnight. If anything happens to me, the truth is in the fountain. Behind the third stone. I love you, sister. E. Ariel's vision blurred. Sister. E. Elizabeth Voss. Michael's first wife. Alexander's mother. She died in 1984. A year before Lydia. Car accident. That's what the record said. Ariel's mind raced. Elizabeth and Lydia were sisters? That meant Alexander wasn't just Lydia's half-brother. He was her nephew. His mother was Lydia's sister. And Michael Voss. Oh God. Michael married one sister. Had an affair with the other. Alexander was born from that affair. Elizabeth wasn't his mother. Lydia was. The room spun. Her mother didn't just work here. She gave birth to Alexander and let her sister raise him to protect the family reputation. And when she tried to tell him the truth, they killed her. Both sisters. Dead within a year. Convenient. Ariel grabbed the letter and ran. Down the stairs. Through the kitchen. Out to the garden. The fountain stood in the center. Stone. Ancient. Covered in moss. She counted stones on the rim. 1. 2. 3. She dug her fingers behind the third stone. It was loose. She pulled. It came free. Behind it, wrapped in plastic, was a stack of documents. Birth certificates. DNA tests. Legal papers. And a confession. Written by Michael Voss himself. I loved Elizabeth. But I desired Lydia. When Lydia became pregnant, I paid Elizabeth to claim the child as hers. Alexander must never know. If he discovers the truth, he loses everything. His inheritance is tied to legitimate birth. Lydia agreed to stay silent for his sake. But she's becoming unstable. She wants to tell him. I cannot allow this. If she speaks, I will have no choice but to. The letter ended mid-sentence. Like he'd been interrupted. Or like he'd decided words weren't necessary. Ariel's hands shook so hard she dropped the papers. Alexander wasn't Michael's heir. He was illegitimate. Everything he built. Everything he owned. Everything he was. Based on a lie. And Lydia died protecting that lie. Protecting him. Looking for something. Ariel spun around. Marcus stood 10 feet away. Holding a gun. You found it, he said calmly. Took you long enough. Put the gun down, Marcus. Can't do that. He stepped closer. You should have left when I warned you. Ariel's back pressed against the fountain. You killed them. Elizabeth and Lydia. Both. I followed orders. Michael's orders? Marcus smiled. Cold. Empty. Michael was weak. Couldn't do what needed doing. So I did it for him. You murdered 2 women. I protected a legacy. He raised the gun. Same thing I'm about to do now. Marcus. Alexander's voice cut through the garden like thunder. He stood at the terrace doors. Hair wild. Still in pajamas. Eyes locked on the gun. Step away from her. Marcus didn't move. Go back inside, Alexander. I said step away. You don't give me orders, boy. I've been wiping your family's messes since before you were born. I know what you did. Alexander walked down the steps. Slow. Hands raised. I know you killed my mother. Marcus laughed. Which one? The words hit Alexander like a bullet. His face went white. What? You heard me. Marcus's smile widened. Elizabeth wasn't your mother. Lydia was. Alexander stumbled. You're lying. Check the fountain. Your little maid found the proof. Alexander looked at Ariel. At the papers scattered at her feet. She nodded. Tears streaming down her face. It's true, she whispered. Lydia was your mother. My mother. We're brother and sister. The world stopped. Alexander's knees buckled. He caught himself on the fountain's edge. No. No, that's not. It's all there. Ariel pointed at the documents. Birth certificates. DNA tests. Michael's confession. Alexander grabbed the papers. Read with shaking hands. His face crumbled. She was my mother? Yes. And she died without, I never, his voice broke. I let them destroy my own mother. You didn't know, Ariel said. I should have known. He screamed at the sky. At God. At himself. I should have protected her. I should have. Touching reunion, Marcus interrupted. But we're done here. He aimed at Ariel. Alexander moved. Faster than a man his age should. He threw himself in front of her. The gun fired. The sound echoed off the mansion walls. Alexander gasped. Staggered. Blood bloomed across his white shirt. No. Ariel caught him as he fell. Marcus stared. Shocked. You stupid fool. Run. Alexander grabbed Ariel's arm. Get inside. Tell everyone. Don't let him. Another shot. Missed by inches. Ariel pulled Alexander toward the terrace. He could barely walk. Blood everywhere. Staff poured out of the mansion. Rosa. Maria. Others. Marcus backed toward the garden gate. Gun still raised. This isn't over, he shouted. The truth dies here. He ran. Disappeared into the trees beyond the estate. Ariel lowered Alexander to the ground. Pressed her hands against the wound. Stay with me, she begged. He looked up at her. Eyes unfocused. Sister? Yes. I'm your sister. I'm sorry. Blood trickled from his mouth. I'm so sorry I didn't save her. I didn't save you. I didn't. Stop talking. Save your strength. No. I need to, he grabbed her hand. Squeezed tight. You came here hating me. Yes. Do you still? She looked at this broken man. This billionaire who'd lost everything. This brother she never knew she had. I don't know, she whispered honestly. He smiled. Sad. Weak. Good. I don't deserve forgiveness. You deserve a chance to do better. Sirens wailed in the distance. Rosa knelt beside them. Ambulance is coming. Alexander's eyes locked on Ariel's. You think I don't see the questions in your eyes? Even bleeding out, he remembered what he'd said weeks ago in the study. You don't see what's behind them, she replied softly. Tell me. Pain. Anger. Loss. But also, she took a shaky breath. Also hope. That maybe you're not the monster I thought you were. I'm worse. No. She squeezed his hand. You're human. Flawed. Broken. But human. His eyes filled with tears. She would have been proud of you. Our mother? Yes. He coughed. More blood. She would have loved you. She did love me. Ariel's voice cracked. Even while she was dying, she told me stories about a son she had to give up. A boy who became a king. I'm no king. No. You're just a man who finally told the truth. The ambulance screamed up the driveway. Paramedics rushed over. They loaded Alexander onto a stretcher. He reached for Ariel's hand one more time. Don't let Marcus get away, he whispered. Promise me. I promise. And don't let them bury this truth. Tell everyone. About Lydia. About Elizabeth. About all of it. I will. They wheeled him away. Rosa stood beside Ariel. Is it true? About Lydia? Ariel nodded. And Alexander? He's my brother. Rosa's eyes widened. Oh my God. Ariel looked at the mansion. At the portrait window where Lydia's face stared down at the garden. The house of secrets is about to burn down, she said quietly. Good, Rosa replied. It's been hiding monsters long enough. Alexander was in surgery for 3 hours. Ariel sat in the hospital waiting room covered in his blood. Rosa brought coffee. He'll make it. He's too stubborn to die. Marcus is still out there. Police are looking. They'll find him. But Ariel knew better. Marcus had been erasing evidence for 40 years. He was a ghost. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? You should have died in that garden. Marcus's voice. Cold. Calm. But there's still time to fix that mistake. Where are you? Close. The line went dead. Ariel's blood turned to ice. She grabbed Rosa's arm. Call 911. Tell them to send units to Eastbridge. Now. What? Why? Call them. She ran. Out of the hospital. Into her car. Drove 90 miles an hour back to the estate. The gates were open. Smoke poured from the east wing. Fire. Ariel slammed the brakes. Ran toward the mansion. Staff were evacuating. Screaming. Running. Is everyone out? Ariel grabbed Rosa who just arrived behind her. I think so, wait. Maria's face went white. Samuel. The gardener's son. He was playing in the library. The East Wing library. Where the smoke was thickest. Call the fire department. Ariel ran inside. Ariel, no. She ignored Rosa. The smoke was blinding. Heat slammed into her like a wall. Samuel. No answer. She dropped low. Crawled through the burning hallway. Portraits melted off walls. The floor burned her hands. Samuel. A child's cry. Faint. Somewhere ahead. She pushed forward. Found him under a table. 6 years old. Crying. Terrified. "I've got you." She scooped him up. Turned around. The hallway behind her was solid flames. No way out. She looked up. Window. She grabbed a bookend. Smashed the glass. Climbed onto the ledge. 2-story drop. Below, staff had gathered. Holding blankets. Jump. Rosa screamed. Ariel held Samuel tight. And jumped. They fell. Hit the blankets. Pain exploded through her leg. But Samuel was safe. His father grabbed him. Sobbing. "Thank you. Oh God, thank you." Sirens wailed. Fire trucks arrived. Ariel lay on the grass. Coughing. Bleeding. Leg twisted wrong. Rosa knelt beside her. "You're insane." "I know. That was the bravest thing I've ever seen." Around them, staff gathered. Watching. Whispering. Not with fear this time. With respect. Maria stepped forward. "You saved him." Others nodded. "You stood up to Marcus. You exposed the truth. You're not like the others." Ariel looked at their faces. These people who'd feared her. Avoided her. Judged her. Now they saw her. "I'm just doing what Lydia would have done," Ariel said quietly. "Then we're with you," Rosa said. "Whatever comes next, we're with you." At the hospital, a nurse rushed into Alexander's room. "Mr. Voss, you need to stay in bed." Alexander was pulling out his four. Ignoring the pain in his chest. "Where is she?" "Sir, you just had surgery." "Where is Ariel?" "There was a fire. She saved a child. She's downstairs in the ER." He pushed past the nurse. Stumbled down the hall in his hospital gown. Found her in a bed with her leg in a cast. Covered in soot. She looked up. "You're supposed to be resting." "So are you." They stared at each other. Brother and sister. Two people who'd hated each other 3 weeks ago. Now bleeding for the same cause. "Marcus started the fire," Ariel said. "I know. He tried to kill that child." "I know. He won't stop until we're all dead." Alexander sat on the edge of her bed. Winced from the bullet wound. "Then we stop him first." "How?" He looked at her. Eyes hard. Determined. "We do what Lydia tried to do 40 years ago. We tell the whole world the truth." The police found Marcus 3 days later. Dead. Single gunshot to the head. His own gun in his hand. Suicide note beside him. "I protected the family. I did what was necessary. Let the truth die with me." But the truth didn't die. Because the night before they found him, an old woman came to Ariel's hospital room. She was 85. Gray hair. Shaking hands. Eyes that had seen too much. "My name is Helen," she whispered. "I worked at Eastbridge for 40 years. I knew your mother." Ariel sat up despite the pain in her leg. "Tell me." Helen pulled a chair close. Looked at the door like someone might be listening. Lydia wasn't just trying to tell Alexander the truth. She was trying to protect him. From what? From his brother. Ariel's blood went cold. What brother? Michael Voss had 2 sons. Helen's voice trembled. Alexander. And Daniel. I've never heard of Daniel. No one has. He was erased. Just like Lydia. Helen pulled out an old photograph. Faded. Torn. Two boys stood side by side. 8 and 10 years old. Same face. Same eyes. Twins. Daniel was Alexander's twin? Ariel's mind reeled. Born the same day. Same mother. Lydia. Helen's eyes filled with tears. But Michael only claimed Alexander. Daniel was too difficult. Violent. Michael had him sent away. To institutions. Mental hospitals. Where is he now? Helen's face went pale. I don't know. But Lydia found out about him when the boys were 8. She tried to bring Daniel home. Tried to reunite them. And? Michael threatened her. Said if she ever spoke Daniel's name again, she'd disappear. Helen's hands shook. A year later, she disappeared. Ariel's stomach twisted. Marcus said he killed her on Michael's orders. Marcus lied. Helen leaned closer. Marcus killed her on Daniel's orders. The room spun. Daniel ordered his own mother's death. He blamed her for abandoning him. For choosing Alexander. Helen wiped her eyes. He was 15 when she died. Already a killer. They just couldn't prove it. How do you know this? Because I helped raise him before Michael sent him away. Helen's voice broke. And I saw what he became. Cold. Calculated. Evil. If he's been in institutions for 40 years. He was released 3 months ago. Good behavior. Clean record. New name. Ariel's blood turned to ice. What's his new name? Helen looked at her with terrified eyes. Marcus Thorne. The world stopped. Marcus wasn't just a butler. He was Alexander's twin brother. The brother Lydia tried to save. The brother who killed her for it. And he'd spent 40 years living in the same house as Alexander, watching him, hating him, waiting. Oh my God, Ariel whispered. Alexander doesn't know. No one knows. Except me. And now you. Where is Marcus, Daniel, now? Dead, Helen said. But before he died, he left something. For Alexander. The nurse told me. A package. Ariel grabbed her crutches. I need to see it. Wait, Helen caught her arm. There's more. What? Helen's eyes filled with horror. Daniel had a son. Alexander's hospital room was dark when Ariel arrived. He sat by the window. Staring at nothing. You should be sleeping, she said. Can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see her. Lydia. My mother. He turned to her. Helen told you. Yes. About Daniel. Yes. Silence. Alexander's voice cracked. I had a twin brother and never knew. He killed our mother. Because she abandoned him. Alexander's hands shook. Because Michael chose me over him. Because I got everything and he got nothing. That's not your fault. Isn't it? He looked at her with broken eyes. I lived in luxury while my brother rotted in institutions. I built an empire while he went insane. Maybe if I'd known. You'd what? You were 8 years old. I could have found him later. Could have helped him. Ariel sat in the chair beside him. You can't save everyone. I couldn't save anyone. His voice was barely a whisper. Not Lydia. Not Daniel. Not even you, you had to save yourself. For the first time since arriving at Eastbridge, Ariel saw him clearly. Not as the villain who destroyed her mother. Not as the billionaire who ruled through fear. Just as a man. Broken. Lost. Drowning in guilt he never asked for. Tell me about your childhood, she said quietly. He looked surprised. Why? Because I want to know who you were before all this. He was quiet for a long time. Then he started talking. I grew up poor. Really poor. Michael left us when I was 10, or who I thought was U.S. Elizabeth and me. We lived in a trailer. She worked 3 jobs. I wore second-hand clothes. Ariel listened. When I was 15, Michael came back. Said I was his heir. Said he'd made mistakes. Suddenly I had everything. Private school. Nice clothes. A mansion. He laughed bitterly. I thought I was lucky. Chosen. You were stolen. I was given a life my brother should have shared. He wiped his eyes. I built this empire to prove I deserved it. To prove I wasn't just some poor kid who got lucky. But it was all a lie. Alexander. I'm a fraud, Ariel. Everything I am. Everything I've built. It's based on my brother's suffering. She reached for his hand. You didn't know. But I do now. He looked at her. And I can't undo it. I can't bring Lydia back. Can't fix what happened to Daniel. Can't. His voice broke completely. He collapsed forward. Sobbing. Ariel held him. This broken billionaire. This man who'd lived his whole life as someone else's sacrifice. You can do better going forward, she whispered. That's all any of us can do. He pulled back. Looked at her through tears. And for the first time since she'd met him. He smiled. A real smile. Sad. Grateful. Human. Thank you, he said. For not giving up on me. Thank you for finally being honest. They sat in silence. 2 strangers who became siblings. 2 people trying to make sense of a past neither one chose. If you're feeling emotional right now, you're not alone. Drop a red heart in the comments and subscribe because this story is about to take a turn nobody saw coming. Seriously, next scene will leave you speechless. Outside, rain started falling. Inside, something shifted. Ariel looked at this man, her brother, and felt something she didn't expect. Forgiveness. Not complete. Not yet. But beginning. And for the first time in 60 years, the weight on her chest felt lighter. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Heavy breathing. Then a voice. Young. Male. Cold. You killed my father. The line went dead. Ariel's blood froze. Daniel had a son. And now he wanted revenge. The hospital released them both the next day. They returned to Eastbridge together. Brother and sister. Bodyguards at every entrance because of the threat. The mansion felt different now. Empty. Staff had quit after the fire. Only Rosa and a few others remained. I'm converting it, Alexander said as they walked through the burned east wing. Into a shelter. 4 people who've been erased. Fired without cause. Disappeared by powerful families. Lydia's house, Ariel said. He nodded. Lydia's house. They stood in front of her portrait. Untouched by the fire. Like she'd been protected. I need to check something in my study, Alexander said. Rest. Please. He walked away. But Ariel didn't rest. Something bothered her. Daniel's son. The phone call. The threat. How did he know where to find them? How did he get her number? Unless someone gave it to him. She walked to Alexander's study. The door was ajar. She pushed it open. Alexander stood at his desk. On the phone. Whispering. I know. I understand. Just, give me more time. He hung up fast when he saw her. Ariel. I thought you were resting. Who were you talking to? Business call. You're lying. His jaw tightened. I'm not. Alexander. Who were you talking to? He looked away. Wouldn't meet her eyes. Cold dread filled her stomach. She walked to his desk. Saw papers spread across it. Financial documents. Wire transfers. All dated within the last month. To an account labeled, D. Thorne. What is this? Her voice shook. Ariel. You've been sending Daniel money? It's not what you think. What is it then? Alexander's face crumbled. He was my brother. He reached out 6 months ago. Before you came. He said he was dying. Needed help. I didn't know who he really was, I thought he was just Marcus asking for. You've been funding the man who killed our mother? I didn't know. When did you find out? Silence. When? His voice dropped. 3 weeks ago. The world tilted. 3 weeks. That's right after I told you who I was. Yes. And you kept sending him money. He threatened to expose everything. To destroy the company. I thought if I paid him. You put money over truth. Again. Ariel's voice went cold. Just like your father. That's not fair. Isn't it? She grabbed the papers. You knew Daniel killed Lydia. You knew he was dangerous. And you paid him to stay quiet? I was trying to protect you. By lying to me? By buying time. Alexander slammed his hand on the desk. I needed to figure out how to stop him without anyone else getting hurt. Well, congratulations. Now his son wants us dead. She turned to leave. Wait. Please. Alexander's voice broke. You said you were starting to forgive me. I was forgiving the man who didn't know better. She looked back at him with cold eyes. Not the man who kept choosing lies. Ariel. Where's the drawer? What? The one you don't want me to see. Every guilty man has one. His face went pale. She walked around the desk. Started pulling drawers open. Don't. The bottom drawer was locked. She grabbed a letter opener. Jammed it in. Broke the lock. Inside, photographs. Letters. Documents. All dated from the last 5 years. Photos of Lydia's grave. Fresh flowers on it. Every year. Letters addressed to her. Never sent. Dozens of them. And one document that made Ariel's blood turn to ice. A private investigator's report. Dated 4 years ago. Subject, Ariel Monroe, daughter of Lydia Monroe. Her address. Her job. Her life. Every detail about her for the last 4 years. You've been watching me? She could barely breathe. For 4 years? I hired someone to find Lydia's family. To make sure you were okay. You've been spying on me. I wanted to reach out. To help you. But I didn't know how. So you just watched? Like some creep? Her hands shook with rage. You knew about me. You knew I existed. And you never said anything? I was afraid. Of what? That I'd want answers? That I'd demand justice? She threw the papers at him. You're not a victim, Alexander. You're a coward. Just like you've always been. I know. You let our mother die protecting your lie. You paid off her killer. You spied on me for years. And you want me to believe you've changed? I have changed. No. You've just gotten better at hiding. She walked to the door. Ariel. Please. She stopped. Didn't turn around. I don't have a sister anymore, she said quietly. I have a stranger who shares my blood. That's all you are to me now. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring her back. Sorry doesn't undo 4 years of lies. Sorry means nothing. She walked out. Behind her, Alexander collapsed into his chair. And for the first time in his life, he understood what Lydia must have felt. Betrayed by the one person who was supposed to protect her. Alone. Completely alone. That night, thunder rolled across Eastbridge like war drums. Ariel stood in her room staring at the photograph of her mother. He knew about me, she whispered. For 4 years, he knew. And he said nothing. Rain hammered the windows. Lightning split the sky. She thought about confronting Alexander. Screaming at him. Demanding answers. But what good would it do? He'd just apologize again. Cry again. Make excuses. Men like him always did. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. My father died because of you. Now you'll know what loss feels like. Below it, a photo. Rosa. Tied to a chair. Tape over her mouth. Eyes wide with terror. Ariel's heart stopped. She ran. Down the stairs. To Alexander's study. He sat in the dark. Drinking. Staring at nothing. Rosa's been taken, she said. He looked up. Eyes red. What? She showed him the photo. He went white. Stood up fast. Daniel's son. Where would he take her? Alexander's mind raced. The old estate. Where my father sent Daniel as a boy. It's been abandoned for years but... Take me there. Ariel, it's dangerous. I don't care. She was taken because of me. She was taken because of us. He grabbed his keys. We go together. They drove through the storm. Rain so thick they could barely see. I'm sorry, Alexander said quietly. For everything. For watching you. For lying. For being exactly who you said I was. Ariel stared out the window. You want forgiveness? I want a chance to do better. Words are cheap, Alexander. I know. That's why I'm not just saying it. He pulled out his phone. Hit a button. Listen. A recording played. Alexander's voice, this is Alexander Voss. I'm calling to confess. My father, Michael Voss, had an illegitimate son named Daniel Thorne. My mother, my real mother, was Lydia Monroe. She was murdered by Daniel on my father's orders. I've spent 4 years hiding the truth. Lying. Protecting a legacy built on blood. But no more. I'm releasing all documents. All evidence. Let the world see what the Voss family really is. Let them judge me. I deserve it. The recording ended. Ariel stared at him. When did you record that? An hour ago. I sent it to every news outlet. Every journalist. Every lawyer who's ever fought against families like mine. His voice shook. By morning, the Voss empire is finished. You're destroying everything you built. I'm destroying everything I stole. He looked at her. You were right. I'm a coward. But maybe I can be brave just once. For Lydia. For you. Thunder crashed. Ariel's throat tightened. This broken man. This liar. This coward. Was finally telling the truth. Why now? She asked. Because I'm tired of hiding. Tired of protecting lies. Tired of being my father's son. He wiped his eyes. And because you taught me something. What? That one honest person is stronger than 1,000 lies. They pulled up to the old estate. Dark. Crumbling. Lightning revealed broken windows and collapsed walls. Alexander grabbed a flashlight. Stay close. They entered together. Inside, decay. Mold. Furniture covered in sheets. Rosa. Ariel called. No answer. They moved through room after room. Then they heard it. Crying. Muffled. They ran toward the sound. Found Rosa in the basement. Still tied to the chair. Alone. Alexander cut the ropes. You're okay. You're safe. Rosa sobbed. He was here. He said he's going to the mansion. To burn it down. With everyone inside. Ariel's blood froze. Maria. Samuel. The other staff. When? Now. He left 10 minutes ago. They ran. The drive back felt like hours. Storm raging. Roads flooding. Alexander's phone rang. Maria. Mr. Voss, there's someone here. He locked us in the dining room. He's pouring gasoline. The line cut off. Drive faster. Ariel screamed. They reached Eastbridge. Smoke poured from the windows. Alexander slammed the brakes. They ran inside. Heat. Flames. Screaming. The dining room door was chained shut. Staff pounded from inside. Alexander grabbed a fire extinguisher. Smashed the chain. The door burst open. Staff poured out. Coughing. Crying. Where is he? Ariel demanded. Maria pointed upstairs. The portrait hall. He said he's waiting for you. Ariel ran. Alexander followed. They reached the portrait hall. Daniel's son stood in front of Lydia's painting. 25 years old. Same face as Alexander. Same eyes as Daniel. Holding a gas can in one hand. A lighter in the other. Hello, uncle, he said with a smile. Ready to watch your world burn? Daniel's son circled them like a predator. My name is Elijah, he said. Elijah Thorne. You never asked, uncle. Too busy playing billionaire to care about your brother's child. I didn't know you existed, Alexander said. Convenient. Elijah flicked the lighter. Flame danced. My father spent 40 years watching you. Hating you. Dying inside while you lived in luxury. Your father was a murderer. Your father made him one. Elijah's voice cracked. Michael threw him away like garbage. Locked him up. Drugged him. Destroyed him. All to protect you. Below them, smoke filled the mansion. Staff were evacuating. Sirens wailed. We need to leave, Ariel said. Now. No. Elijah stepped in front of the portrait. First, Uncle Alexander apologizes. For what? For existing. For stealing the life my father should have had. For being chosen. Alexander's jaw clenched. I didn't choose to be born. But you chose to keep building. Keep taking. Keep pretending you deserved it. Elijah raised the gas can. Every dollar you made was bought with my father's suffering. I'm trying to make it right. By destroying the company? Please. Elijah laughed. You think releasing some documents makes you noble? You're still Alexander Voss. Still the golden boy. Still alive while my father is dead. What do you want? Alexander's voice rose. You want me to die? Fine. Let Ariel go and I'll stay. No. Ariel grabbed his arm. It's okay. It's not okay. She turned to Elijah. Your father killed our mother. He spent 40 years destroying lives. Whatever happened to him, he chose that path. He was 8 when they threw him away. And I was 20 when my mother died. Ariel's voice shook. But I didn't spend my life burning down the world. I survived. I moved forward. I did better. Because you were free. Elijah screamed. You weren't locked in cages. You weren't pumped full of medication. You weren't forgotten. Footsteps on the stairs behind them. Rosa appeared. Police behind her. Drop the can, an officer shouted. Elijah's hand tightened on the lighter. Don't, Ariel said quietly. Please. This isn't who you have to be. You don't know who I am. I know you're angry. I know you're hurt. I know you want someone to pay. She stepped closer. But burning this house won't bring your father back. It'll just make you like him. Maybe I want to be like him. No, you don't. Her voice softened. You want to be seen. Heard. Acknowledged. You want someone to say, what happened to you was wrong. Tears filled Elijah's eyes. So I'm saying it now. Ariel's voice cracked. What happened to Daniel was wrong. What Michael did was evil. You deserved better. Your father deserved better. Elijah's hand shook. But so did Lydia, Ariel continued. So did my mother. So did all the people caught in this family's lies. We all deserved better. Silence. Then Alexander spoke. I'm sorry. His voice was quiet. Broken. I'm sorry you grew up alone. I'm sorry your father suffered. I'm sorry I didn't find you sooner. He took a breath. I can't change the past. But I can give you something now. What? Half of everything. The estate. The money. Whatever's left after the lawsuits. It's yours. By blood. By right. Elijah stared. You're lying. I'm not. Alexander pulled out his phone. Pulled up documents. My lawyer prepared this 2 days ago. I was waiting for the right time. Guess this is it. He showed Elijah the screen. Legal transfer documents. Naming Elijah Thorne as co-heir. Why? Elijah's voice broke. Because you're family. And family shouldn't be erased. The lighter dropped from Elijah's hand. He collapsed to his knees. Sobbing. Police moved in. Carefully took the gas can. Rosa helped Elijah to his feet. Come on. Let's get you out of here. They led him away. Ariel and Alexander stood alone in the smoke-filled hall. Staring at Lydia's portrait. You meant it, Ariel said. About giving him half. Every word. That's actually noble. It's actually what Lydia would have wanted. He looked at her. I'm learning. Slowly. But I'm learning. She almost smiled. Then she heard it. Voices below. Loud. Angry. They went downstairs. The staff had gathered in the main hall. All of them. Even the ones who'd quit. And standing in the center. The head of Alexander's board of directors. 3 lawyers. 2 journalists. Alexander Voss, the board director, said coldly. You're finished. Alexander straightened. I know. Your confession went viral. The company stock is crashing. Investors are fleeing. You've destroyed everything. Good. The director's face went red. Good. Good. Do you know how many people you've ruined? How many jobs lost? How many lives did the Voss empire ruin first? That's not the point. That's exactly the point. Alexander's voice thundered through the hall. This company was built on lies. On erasure. On throwing away anyone who didn't fit the perfect image. Well, I'm done. I'm done pretending. Done protecting. Done hiding. You're having a breakdown. I'm having a breakthrough. He looked at the staff. At Rosa. At Maria. At faces he'd ignored for years. I humiliated you. Fired you. Treated you like you were nothing. And I'm sorry. Silence. I don't deserve forgiveness, he continued. But I'm asking anyway. Because the only way forward is truth. And the truth is, I was a tyrant. A coward. A man who cared more about power than people. The director scoffed. This is pathetic. Alexander turned on him. What's pathetic is protecting a legacy built on blood. What's pathetic is standing here defending a company that destroyed families. What's pathetic? Crack. The sound echoed through the mansion. Everyone froze. Alexander's head snapped to the side. His cheek blazing red. Ariel stood in front of him. Hands still raised. Eyes burning with 40 years of rage. That's for my mother, she said, voice shaking. For every lie you told. Every person you hurt. Every time you chose power over human decency. The room held its breath. Alexander touched his face. Stared at her. You can fire me, Ariel said loudly. You can throw me out. But first, hear what no one else will say. She turned to face everyone. Staff. Board members. Journalists. Cameras suddenly recording. This man destroyed lives. Built an empire on his brother's suffering. Let his mother die protecting his lie. He's guilty. He's broken. He's everything you think he is. Alexander's face crumbled. But he's also the first billionaire I've ever seen willing to burn his own kingdom down for truth. Her voice rose. He's giving half his fortune to the nephew he never knew. He's exposing the family that made him. He's choosing honesty over legacy. She looked at Alexander. Is it enough? No. Can it undo the past? Never. But it's a start. And sometimes, her voice cracked, sometimes that's all broken people can give. Silence. Then Maria started clapping. Slow. Steady. Rosa joined. Then Samuel's father. Then others. The applause grew. Not for Alexander. For truth. For courage. For the moment when power finally bowed to humanity. Alexander looked at Ariel. Tears streaming down his face. Thank you, he whispered. She didn't smile. Didn't forgive. Not completely. But she nodded. Once. And in that nod was everything. The beginning of redemption. The end of silence. And the promise that some truths, once spoken, can never be buried again. The slap heard around the world. Comment right now, did Alexander deserve it? And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? The mansion emptied after the slap. Board members left. Journalists scattered to write their stories. Staff returned to their quarters. Only Ariel and Alexander remained in the hall. Staring at each other. My office, Alexander said quietly. We need to talk. We've talked enough. No. We haven't. He turned and walked away. After a moment, Ariel followed. He closed the door. Locked it. Poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Handed her one. She didn't drink it. You slapped me in front of everyone, he said. You deserved it. I know. He downed his glass. But that's not why I brought you here. He walked to a safe behind his desk. Punched in a code. Pulled out a folder. Handed it to her. What is this? The real reason Lydia died. Ariel's hands shook as she opened it. Inside, autopsy photos. Medical reports. A coroner's investigation that was never made public. She didn't die of cancer, Alexander said quietly. The cancer was in remission. She was getting better. Ariel's vision blurred. Then what killed her? Poison. Slow. Deliberate. Administered over 6 months. The room spun. Daniel? No. Alexander's voice cracked. Michael. My father. Your grandfather. What? He visited her at the hospital. Every week. Brought her food. Medicine. Said he wanted to make amends. Alexander's hands clenched. But he was killing her. Slowly. Making sure she'd never talk. Ariel collapsed into a chair. How long have you known? 3 months. I hired a private investigator to reopen her case. These documents came back 2 weeks before you arrived. And you said nothing. Because I was terrified. He knelt in front of her. If I exposed Michael, I exposed everything. The company. The family. Myself. I was still choosing protection over truth. Until I forced your hand. Until you showed me what courage looks like. He wiped his eyes. You walked into this house alone. Faced your enemy. Demanded answers. You did what Lydia couldn't. She tried. And she was murdered for it. Alexander's voice shook with rage. My father killed her. His own. He stopped. Took a breath. Do you know what the worst part is? Ariel looked at him. I spent 40 years idolizing him. Trying to make him proud. Building his empire higher. And the whole time, his voice broke. I was worshipping my mother's killer. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. We're siblings, Ariel said quietly. Same mother. Same blood. I know. I spent my whole life hating you. Blaming you for her death. You should. I let it happen. You were a child. I was a coward. He looked at her. Even after I learned the truth about Daniel. About Michael. About everything. I still chose silence. Until you made silence impossible. Ariel stood. Walked to the window. Stared out at the garden where Marcus, Daniel, had died. What happens now? She asked. Now? Alexander laughed bitterly. Now I lose everything. The company's dissolving. The estate's being sold. I'll be lucky if I'm not arrested. Good. He looked surprised. You don't think I deserve prison? I think you deserve to live with what you've done. She turned to him. Death is easy. Prison is easy. But waking up every day knowing you failed her? That's punishment. You sound like you've thought about this. I've thought about it for 40 years. Her voice cracked. Every birthday. Every holiday. Every time I saw a mother with her daughter. I thought about what was stolen from me. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Ariel's voice echoed. Stop saying you're sorry. Stop crying. Stop breaking down. Because you know what? I don't want your guilt. I want my mother. I can't give you that. Then what can you give me? Silence. Alexander walked to his desk. Pulled out another document. This. He handed it to her. Lydia left a will. I found it in the investigator's report. She wrote it a week before she died. Ariel's hands trembled as she read. To my daughter, Ariel. If you're reading this, I'm gone. And you finally know the truth. I was never just a maid. I was Alexander's mother. I gave him up to protect him. To give him the life I never had. Was I wrong? Maybe. But I loved him. And I loved you. And I couldn't have both. Don't hate him, baby. He didn't know. He was a victim too. The Voss family is poison. But Alexander, he has a good heart buried under all that pain. If you ever meet him, remind him who he could be. I love you. Always. Mama. Ariel's legs gave out. She collapsed to the floor. Sobbing. 40 years of rage. Grief. Hatred. All colliding with 6 words. Don't hate him. Alexander knelt beside her. Didn't touch her. Just sat there. She protected me even at the end, he whispered. Even knowing what the family did. She still loved me. She was stronger than both of us, Ariel choked out. She was. They sat in silence. 2 broken people. Same blood. Same loss. I don't know how to forgive you, Ariel said finally. I don't expect you to. But I think, she looked at him. I think maybe I can learn to see you as my brother. His breath caught. Really? Not today. Maybe not for years. But, she wiped her eyes. Lydia wanted us to find each other. And I won't disrespect her final wish. Alexander's face crumbled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Ariel stood. Because starting tomorrow, we're going to fix this. All of it. How? By doing what she tried to do. We expose everything. Every secret. Every lie. Every body buried in this family's past. That'll destroy what's left of the Voss name. Good. Ariel's eyes burned. Let it burn. Then we build something new. Something honest. Something she'd be proud of. Alexander stood. Extended his hand. Partners? She looked at his hand. This man who'd caused so much pain. This brother she never wanted. She shook it. Partners. Outside the door, Rosa pressed her ear against the wood. Listening. Smiling. Because for the first time in 40 years, truth was winning at Eastbridge Estate. And no empire, no matter how powerful, could survive that. The press conference was scheduled for noon. By 11, 200 journalists packed the front lawn of Eastbridge. Cameras. Microphones. Helicopters overhead. The Voss scandal had gone global. Ariel stood backstage in a tent. Watching Alexander pace. I can't do this, he said. Yes you can. They'll tear me apart. They should. She stepped in front of him. But you're going to stand there anyway. And you're going to tell them everything. What if I freeze? Then I'll speak for you. He looked at her. You do that? We're partners, remember? She straightened his tie. Now go. Lydia's watching. He walked onto the platform. The crowd erupted. Questions shouted from every direction. Mr. Voss. Is it true you knew about Daniel Thorne? Did you cover up your mother's murder? Are you stepping down? Alexander raised his hand. Silence fell. My name is Alexander Voss, he began. His voice shook. And everything you've heard is true. Cameras flashed like lightning. I am the illegitimate son of Michael Voss and Lydia Monroe. My entire inheritance was built on a lie. My brother, Daniel Thorne, was erased by our father and spent his life in institutions. He became a killer. And his voice cracked. I benefited from his suffering. The crowd leaned forward. Hungry. My mother, Lydia Monroe, tried to expose the truth 40 years ago. She was murdered. Poisoned by my father, Michael Voss. The cancer story was a cover-up. Gasps rippled through the journalists. I didn't know the full truth until recently. But I suspected. And I stayed silent. Because I was afraid. Afraid of losing my empire. My reputation. My identity. Tears streamed down his face. But my sister, he looked at Ariel. She taught me something. She taught me that truth is more powerful than empires. That one honest voice is stronger than 1,000 lies. Ariel's throat tightened. So today, I'm dissolving the Voss Corporation. Every asset. Every holding. It will be liquidated and distributed to the families my father destroyed. To the workers he fired. To the people he erased. The crowd erupted. Furthermore, Eastbridge Estate will become Lydia's house. A shelter for those who've been silenced by power. A place where truth is protected, not buried. His voice rose. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I'm asking for something else. He looked directly at the cameras. I'm asking every family with secrets, every corporation built on lies, every powerful person hiding truth, stop. Please. Stop before you destroy more lives. He pulled out a photograph. Held it up. Lydia. Young. Smiling. Alive. This is Lydia Monroe. My mother. A woman who gave up everything to protect me. A woman who was murdered for trying to do the right thing. His voice broke completely. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry I didn't save you. But I promise, he looked at the crowd. At the cameras. At the world. I promise your death meant something. Because today, the lies end. He stepped down. The crowd exploded. Questions. Shouts. Chaos. But Alexander walked straight to Ariel. Collapsed into her arms. I did it, he sobbed. I finally did it. She held him. She'd be proud. That night, the story went global. Billionaire confesses. Empire built on murder and lies. Alexander Voss exposes decades of family cover-up. Lydia Monroe, the mother who died for truth. Social media exploded. Support. Outrage. Debate. But one thing was clear. The truth was out. And no amount of money could bury it again. At Eastbridge, Ariel stood in front of Lydia's portrait. Workers were preparing to move it to the main entrance of the new shelter. We did it, Mama, she whispered. The whole world knows your name now. Behind her, Alexander appeared. They're calling you a hero, he said quietly. I'm not a hero. I'm just a daughter who refused to stay quiet. That's what heroes are. She looked at him. This broken billionaire. This brother she was still learning to know. What happens to you now? Lawsuits. Investigations. Probably prison. He smiled sadly. But I'm okay with that. For the first time in my life, I'm free. Free? From the lies. From the fear. From being Alexander Voss, billionaire tyrant. He looked at the portrait. Now I'm just Alexander. Lydia's son. Your brother. A man trying to do better. Ariel nodded. That's enough. They stood together. Two people bound by blood and truth. Ready to face whatever came next. 6 months later. Ariel stood at the gates of Lydia's house and watched them open. Not for billionaires. Not for power. For people. Families who'd been fired without cause. Workers blacklisted by corporations. People who'd been erased for speaking truth. They came with suitcases. With children. With hope. Rosa greeted them at the door. Welcome. You're safe here. Inside, the mansion had changed. The gold was gone. The crystal chandeliers replaced with simple lights. The dining room where Alexander once humiliated staff was now a community kitchen. And in the main hall, right where everyone entered, hung Lydia's portrait. Larger than before. Restored. Radiant. Underneath, a plaque read. Lydia Monroe, a woman who refused to stay silent. Ariel touched the frame gently. They see you now, Mama. Everyone sees you. She'd be proud. Ariel turned. Alexander stood behind her. Thinner. Older. He'd spent 3 months in minimum security for obstruction of justice. But he'd survived. How was it? She asked. Humbling. He smiled. Necessary. They walked through the shelter together. Past families eating together. Children laughing. People rebuilding. 62 people this month, Alexander said. Word spreading. Other billionaires are calling. Threatening lawsuits. Let them threaten. One offered me $50 million to shut this place down. What did you say? I told him to go to hell. Alexander smiled. Real. Genuine. Felt good. They reached the garden. Where it all began. Where Marcus fell. Where truth was born. A memorial stood there now. Simple stone. 2 names. Elizabeth Monroe. Lydia Monroe. Sisters. Mothers. Silenced but not forgotten. I added Elizabeth, Alexander said quietly. She deserved to be remembered too. Ariel nodded. She protected Lydia as long as she could. And paid for it. They stood in silence. Do you forgive me? Alexander asked suddenly. Ariel thought about it. Really thought. I'm learning to, she said honestly. Some days are harder than others. But, she looked at the shelter. At the people. At the life growing from ashes. I see who you're becoming. And that helps. I'll spend the rest of my life making this right. I know. A little girl ran past them. Chasing a butterfly. Laughing. Alexander watched her. That could have been you. If Lydia had lived. Or it could have been you. If Daniel had been loved instead of locked away. We were all victims. We were. But we're not anymore. Alexander looked at his sister. Thank you. For not giving up on me. Thank you for finally being worth not giving up on. He laughed. A real laugh. Behind them, Rosa called out. Ariel. New family just arrived. They're asking for you. Coming. She started to walk away. Ariel. She stopped. I love you. I know I don't have the right to say it. But I do. She looked back at this man. This brother. This fellow survivor. I know, she said softly. I'm learning to love you too. And she walked back to the house that once held only secrets. Now it held hope. That evening, Ariel stood alone in front of Lydia's portrait. The house was quiet. Peaceful. "We did it, Mama," she whispered. "It took one slap to wake this house. And one truth to wake a man." She could have sworn the portrait smiled. Behind her, voices echoed. Families talking. Children playing. Life happening. The mansion that never slept had finally woken up. And in waking, it learned to live. Not for power. Not for empires. But for people. For truth. For love. Ariel walked toward the sound of laughter. Toward the future. Leaving the past where it belonged. In the portrait. In the memory. In the courage of a woman who refused to be erased. And in the daughter who made sure the world would never forget her name. Some truths are buried so deep, it takes a lifetime to dig them up. Some silences are so loud, it takes a slap to break them. But once truth is spoken, once silence is shattered, nothing stays the same. Not houses. Not empires. Not hearts. Truth doesn't ask for permission. It demands to be heard. And those brave enough to speak it? They change the world. One word at a time. If this story moved you, changed you, or made you think differently, drop a comment sharing what hit you hardest. And subscribe because we're dropping more powerful stories like this every week. Which story should we tell next? Let us know below.